Greetings comrades, my name is Gantles, and in today's video we'll be dealing with a more sensitive topic than what I would normally cover, or have covered so far. To give you an idea of what sort of video this is going to be, that I would condemn people to hell for it, let me give you a definition first. So according to Google, Rule 34 basically states that if something exists on the internet, then there is a pornographic version of it. Yeah, we'll be dealing with something regarding morality and sexuality here. So if you're uncomfortable with that, you should probably stop watching now, because it gets worse from here on out. But I first need to give some backstory to this whole situation. So on Facebook, not all of the groups I'm in are religion based. Some of them I just follow for entertainment purposes. For instance, there's one that I follow about Studio Ghibli, which is a Japanese animation studio. They produce a lot of good films like Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, when Marnie was there, and so on. Okay, a lot of good stuff. Now, there's a lot of fan art and stuff in those groups that people find off the internet or do themselves. But the reason why I'm making this video is because of a couple of incidents that happened over the last week. So, firstly, a few days ago, there was a person in that group, who posted a piece of fan art regarding characters from Spirited Away. And this included Chihiro, is that how you pronounce the name? Chihiro and Lin. Now, I can't find this image again, thankfully, so without going on to any dodgy sites, so just bear with me here. It showed these two characters, and they had their backs to the camera, and they were sort of like looking over their back. They were looking over their shoulder, kind of like this. Okay. Now they were in their bathhouse uniform, because at one point in the film, they're working in a bathhouse, and this bathhouse, it's basically pink overalls also over what looks like what is it, orange? I think it's like orange pants or something, and then a purple top. That, well, you're looking at the uniform right now. So as you can see here, that purple undershirt, whatever, it basically reveals the back, but only half of it. Okay, so it stops halfway down the back. Now, when I first saw this image, I was immediately suspect of it because I could notice there was something wrong with the uniform. And in this suspicious image, this purple undershirt, it didn't stop halfway down their back. It went all the way down their back. If you went any further, you'll be seeing a lot more than you should be seeing. Though technically that was already happening. I immediately voiced some concerns about this image, saying this image doesn't seem right. It seems somewhat sexualized. And I continued to do a more thorough investigation of this image to see if I was just being oversensitive or something. And so I did a lot more research into the movie scenes where you could see this purple undershirt, because I thought that maybe the dimensions were wrong. And it turns out that I was right, because in addition to the back of this purple undershirt being too low, according to the uniform, the purple undershirt basically goes up their body like this. So it goes around their neck, and then it goes around their neck like that. So no low neckline, and it doesn't reveal anything on the chest. It just goes straight down pretty much. This purple undershirt on the suspicious image, it was much more revealing than that. It was almost like halfway down here. And Lin was presented as having, I think, for some reason, this purple undershirt was shaping around her chest very, very well. And you could see a lot more than you should be seeing. Especially considering that that Spirited Away is a family-friendly movie, that this suspicious image definitely didn't look right. So I voiced my concerns in the comments, and a couple of other people noticed this as well, saying, yeah, something about this image seems wrong. So I took this image and I copied it and pasted it into Google reverse search. And there were a few dozen links that popped up. And I really wish I had looked more closely at the URLs and the caption and the not the captions, but the text that would appear beside the image before you click on a link. I wish I'd looked more closely before I clicked on a couple of them. Basically, this image was This image was in some regard from an ecchi site. And when I say ecchi, ecchi is a Japanese word for pervert or perverted. And there was a lot of other content on there, which my mind is mostly burnt out due to the passage of time. But some of it was hentai, which is basically Japanese animated pornography. But the moment I saw this, I immediately contacted the admin of the group, the admins and moderators of the group, saying, "Look, please remove this quickly. It's from a pornographic site." And I even tried contacting the poster, and they ignored me. Then one of the moderators contacted me back and said, "Okay, sure, we'll remove it," and she did. A few days later, so not too long ago, I was scrolling through the group again, and I noticed that there was a new, thank you, and I noticed that the same person, the same poster, had a collection of fan art about My Neighborhood Totoro, and more specifically about one of the characters called Satsuki. Now, in one of these images that I could see, Satsuki was presented as being much older than she was in the movie. And she was wearing a bag in such a way that you could see that she was probably not wearing enough clothing. Okay? Not wearing enough clothing. That's the only hint I'm going to give you about what she looked like. But she definitely looked a lot more mature and sexualized in this image. And I immediately voiced some concerns about this again to the poster. And then learning from my previous lesson, I then copied this image and took it back and I reverse searched it in Google Images. And I found that this was from a person on DeviantArt. This person, according to the rest of their DeviantArt profile, was known for doing pornographic images regarding anime characters. So I immediately told the poster, "Look, you're copying this from another pornographic site. Okay, not pornographic site, a pornographic artist. You need to stop doing this." And then I contacted the moderator again, and she removed it and said, "Okay, if this person does it one more time, we're kicking them out of here." Because it seems a bit coincidental that both posts that she's ever posted in that group had sexualized images in them. Now, my main concern about this in the context of Rule 34 is that both these characters, okay, Chihiro from Spirited Away and Satsuki from My Neighborhood Totoro, both of them are 10 years old. Both of them are 10 years old. That is less than half my age. And despite them being less than 10 years old, a bunch of the guys had looked at these characters and thought, they looked at these characters one day and thought, "You know what? What if I sexualize them? Or what if I make them a bit older and make them more sexual and made pornographic images regarding them?" What kind of sick-minded person would take a character from a family-friendly film, okay, a 10-year-old character, and sexualize them? Why? You have Spirited Away. I think it's the only anime film to have ever won an Oscar, and it's a really good film. I haven't seen My Neighborhood Totoro yet, but apparently it's a good film too. But these Rule 34 artists, they take characters from movies, normal movies, good movies that, good plot, good characters and everything, and they then pervert that for their own sexual desires. And not only that, but they're taking children, even if it's not real, okay, even if these characters aren't real, they're still taking children and sexualizing them. And this is something that I think people gravely misunderstand about the debate regarding live action versus animated pornography. On one hand, live action is realistic. Okay, so you have actual people engaging in such activities, and when you're saying like child pornography, those are real children being abused. On the other hand, when it comes to animated pornography like hentai, although it's not real characters, because it's not real characters, there's a lot more creativity with that. For instance, you will probably find a huge amount of child-based pornography in regards to hentai. A huge amount of it. And that's because it's legal to produce that sort of sick, disgusting content. And no one's really doing anything about it. They're saying, well, it's animated, so it's fine. But can you stop making noise? You have these two female 10-year-old characters in family-friendly movies. And these Rule 34 artists come along and decide, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to take these two characters, these two underage, family-friendly characters, and I'm going to sexualize them. I'm going to put them into pornographic content. How psychologically damaged do you have to be to have that line of, or it's at least a similar line of reasoning in your mind to do something like that? That must have been exactly the thought process of Satan when he thought, you know what, I'm going to take these pure innocent creatures that God created and I'm just going to make them perform lustful acts with one another to the point that they are nothing better than animals. It's absolutely sickening, and unfortunately people don't seem to realize the sheer danger of it in the context of the animated world and animated media, because there's a lot more creativity with that, and it's especially problematic if children come across this sort of content, because normally people associate animated films with children, but believe me, a lot of anime out there is not for children. You could probably look at the world of anime and see the sort of themes presented in that as influencing the children that are going to be the adults of tomorrow. And for some anime, that is not a good thing. Parents out there, please don't give your children just free range to watch whatever they want. Okay, just don't. If they want to watch an anime, either watch it with them or do your research on it first, because the last thing you need is people to, like, even if you're watching a family-friendly content like this, the last thing you want is a child to watch something like Spirited Away or My Neighborhood Totoro, and they're like, oh cool, I'm gonna Google search this, and then they come across these websites that sexualize these characters, because that's the gateway towards more perverted content in future, and that is not something you want your children to be exposed to, because that will stick with them for a lifetime. But that's it for this video. So hopefully you guys have a good week. I'm running out of space. I didn't realize how long this was taking. Keep an eye out for the sort of stuff you watch online. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a good week, all of you. God bless you all. See you in the next video, comrades. Until then.